Trey's a good player. Watched him a lot on the AAU circuit. Obviously tried to recruit him here to Tech. His dad, Rayford, is one of the all-time great players. So, I think all of us that knew Trey knew he was capable of doing this, but it's been really impressive that he's been able to play at this level consistently, early in his college career.
I guess were you able to watch the West Virginia-Oklahoma game, and I guess what were you able to take from that, or is it really what you all are trying to do against them going into this game?
Yeah, I watch every game. So West Virginia was aggressive. Their pressing style worked some, but Oklahoma exploited it other times. But I thought it was just a great Big 12 game, and the home team won. But I thought it was two great teams, two teams that are going to be in the NCAA tournament, in my opinion, and two teams that will eventually compete for the league title this year.
With Trey and how well he plays, but everybody talks about the points, but he also gets a ton of assists with how he dishes it. How do you kind of try to balance defensively, guarding and having help defense on him and trying to make sure he's not getting a ton of assists by dishing it to open guys too?
Yeah, Oklahoma's got a good team. They've got really good players. I think Trey Young will be the first to tell you. So it's not just a one-man show. We have all sorts of issues in this game, but we're going to have to stop their three-point shooting. We're going to have to stop their inside game. We're going to have to, make them uncomfortable at times in the game. A lot easier to talk about it than do it, but we're trying to do everything we can to put our players in a situation where we can have some success. But we know how difficult this game is going to be. I think Oklahoma is not only one of the better teams in the Big 12, but I think they're one of the best teams in college basketball. Again, it starts with their coach, and then they have really good players.
Coach, if there's been an update already, I apologize, but Zach with the ankle that he seemed to re-aggravate yesterday, have you all gotten an update on what his kind of status is going into this week?
Yeah, it's just kind of day-to-day at this point. He's going to get some more test and work done today and tomorrow. So as soon as we know something, we'll tell you guys.
And then, final, as opposed to maybe in non-conference when you were able to build a lead and kind of extend it throughout the game, weathering a couple storms against Kansas and Kansas State, what's been the biggest key to kind of weathering that, especially with some of the youngsters in the lineup?
Well, it starts with your mental side. You got to be composed. You got to be poised. Big 12 basketball, there's going to be runs every game. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So I think our guys have been prepared for those runs. And when the other team's playing well, we've been able to stay composed enough to stop the run. I also really believe in those times that you got to go make a play. Kind of like in football, you just kind of play a prevent defense. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You got to go make a play. A lot of those games, maybe like a sack or a turnover will help win a game defensively in football. Basketball is very similar. I think when the other team's playing well, you can't just weather the storm. You got to go make a play. So specifically off the top of my head in these games, we've had some big-time putbacks to kill runs. We've gotten to the free throw line, stopped the clock, and calm crowds down on the road, getting to the free throw line. But I do think that there's a fact that you got to be aggressive when the other team's making a run against you.
And is the car karaoke with your daughter going to become a tradition after big wins?
Absolutely not. Somebody told me about that today, so I love my daughters, but I'm going to have to kind of regroup with Avery here on that one.
We'll go back here to the front with Will if we can get the microphone to him.
Could you speak to Latin for them? And he's been around for seems like forever for those guys, and just kind of what he is as a rebounding force for them.
Yeah, he's a really good player. He does so many things for those guys that maybe don't even show up on the stat sheet. A lot of the best screens that Oklahoma sets are his. We call those assist screens. It's a valued stat for us, and also in the NBA. I really think the assist screen is going to be in a box score at some time in the near future. It's that important to our game, and Latin does a good job of that. And he's one of the better rebounders in the Big 12. So he's a guy that has our full attention and respect. He's a really good player.
Coach, we talked about yesterday about the runs and working on runs, but with the way this team is playing so far, the potential for this team is even better and better with better play to eliminate the slow 6-minute start in the second half, the slow 5-minute start in the first half. What are you doing, and how did you see the potential of this team that is still playing so well with those 5- and 6-minute stopping?
Got it, I think. I understand the question. We're like every other team. Like when you don't play well and you get beat, there's obvious signs of things to improve. But at this level of competition, we all know even when you play well enough to win, there's still things that you got to improve. Like we're all striving for the same thing. That's the perfect game. We'll never get there, but you're trying to get to perfection. With us, we really believe victory favors the team that makes the fewest mistakes. So we're constantly trying to learn from the things that we didn't do right. We also think that the victory favors a team that's more aggressive. So we're constantly rewarding and showing the things that we do good. So it's just that fine line of always improving. And then in a basketball game, there's key moments. The first couple minutes of each half, the middle of halves, the end of games. So, with us, we try to break the game up into certain 3-4 minute games. But we're just trying to get better. We're a work in progress. It's early in the season. I'd much rather be sitting here with 3 wins than 3 losses. But I'd be the first to tell you we really haven't done anything yet. This race doesn't even start, developing until February. We're all just kind of jockeying for position. We're all trying to protect our home courts. We're trying to get a road win if we can. We're trying to get our teams better, trying to get our teams healthy. Just a lot of things going on in the Big 12 right now, and we're no different. We're just trying to get better.
And so how do you feel this team is performing right now? Do you want to be even better and better as you're approaching March?
Yeah, of course. I mean, any coach is never satisfied. It's like your wife or girlfriend. You could always do more for them, right? And so but what I do like about our team is we're playing together. We're an unselfish team that's playing hard. We are being aggressive. We're buying into some things on the defensive end that Coach Adams and our staff want done. We're trying to play the game offensively like we want done. So there are a lot of positives. But, in this business, it's like a good friend of mine told me the other day, like, a prince today, frog tomorrow. Like, peacock today, feather duster tomorrow. I mean, we understand that we really haven't done anything yet. We just got to keep validating each day. We do play well enough to win. We got to validate it by trying to put ourselves in a position to win again the next game.
What's the biggest benefit of these early, conference road tests, Norman, Lawrence, et cetera?
In our league, there's not an easy road game. So I think I don't think there's any benefit for that. I mean, in the Big 12, you just look at the schedule, and if you got a home game, you just hope that you can protect the home court. And when you go on the road, it doesn't matter where you go. You just know how difficult it's going to be. I mean, there was a case last year for our program, Texas Tech, maybe being in the bottom half of the league. I promise you we were a good team last year. You can't find one Big 12 coach that wanted to come to Lubbock and play us last year. We were a good team, but, the difference between being good and winning in this league is so difficult. It might be one possession. It might be 3 possessions. It might be a break here. It might be a call or a bad call here. So you just try to continue to put yourself in a situation each night where you have a chance to win. You work hard. You try to do the things that you want to do. You try to be aggressive. And to this point this year, we're in the fight so far.
Just going back to Trey, I know everyone kind of looks at the threes that he takes, how far. I guess his coach Adams, had a trouble just trying to see how much that'll spread a defense out. Or what are kind of the things that he kind of or threats that he kind of does with the ability to kind of shoot a 3 from as far as he does?
Well, he's a guy that can score in 3 different levels, from the deep 3, from the mid-range pull-up off the dribble, and then he's shown ability to score at the free throw line. So basically when he gets to the rim, draws fouls, he's a great free throw shooter. Then he can impact the game with his passing too. So he's another great Big 12 player. But, a Baylor, LeCompte, Kansas State, Stokes, and our thoughts and prayers are with him today. Never like that, never seen a great player, get hurt. So we felt, really bad about that. But so our thoughts and prayers are with everybody at K-State right now. And then certainly with Kansas, with Graham. So Trey Young's in that same category of great player. You got to kind of pick and choose what you're going to try to get done with him. But there's no way we can stop him. We're just going to try to, maybe make it a difficult night for him.
Speaking of injuries, it looked like Norris got, banged up a little bit. Is he all right, and what's his status?
Yeah, it's just the Big 12, 4th game. I think everybody in this league's banged up at some point. So that's just a part of our process, getting in that training room. So Norris will be ready to practice tomorrow. Is he at 100%? Probably not, but nobody else is this time of year either.
Did you hear what happened to him or anything like
No.
that? Oh, okay. And I guess just to kind of speak to Malik, I know you kind of mentioned he's been trying to get back. I guess is he a redshirt possibility, or are you still trying to see if he can get some minutes?
Yeah, we're just trying to get him. He's to the point we know where he can only practice a certain amount of time, and then so it's been frustrating. He's continuing to work at it, but until he's healthy enough to play, just don't want to put him in that situation.
And last question for me. I guess I know everyone talks about Trey Young. He's a freshman. You obviously have 3 really good freshmen, including Malik, who you always mention. I guess what's that like for you to just kind of see that kind of happen, hopefully on Tuesday, where obviously you're going to see a bunch of really good freshmen on the court?
Yeah, it's like this every year in the Big 12. When I was here at the first time, Martin Zeno, Jay Jackson, we had some freshmen play at incredible levels. And so Z and Culver are attempting to do that. It's like, I don't think it's time to hand them the jewelry yet. I think they got a lot more to prove, but they're off to a good start. But certainly this will have a unique game. A lot of really good freshmen on the floor. But I think if you look at any Big 12 game, there's young guys that can really play.
Last question in the back.
With the highs and lows of any season, how do you keep your guys kind of level-headed? Don't get too high after any win. Don't get too low after any loss.
It's impossible to do if you don't have internal leadership. Every coach strives for that. You look for it all the time, whether it's in pro sports or college, certainly high school level. You got to have internal leadership. You got to have guys in that locker room that understand that it's not about yesterday, it's about the day. And it's really not even about tomorrow. You got to stay grounded in the moment. With our team, a book, The Precious Present, is something that's been a part of every team we've ever had, the idea of living in today, not yesterday or tomorrow. And we pride ourselves in just having a lot of truth telling in our locker room and our atmosphere. So we just tell the guys straight up, you got 12 hours to celebrate or mourn, and then we got to move on. This is the Big 12. So, but I think really, if you don't have guys on your team, if you don't have internal leadership with your players, understanding that you can't get too high or too low, it's really difficult from a coaching standpoint.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.